$100,000 worth of taxpayer-funded restoration work was recently wiped out by a debris torrent which filled in 4 miles of Bear Creek. Now it is totally unlivable for salmon. Maxam continues to log Bear Creek. The day after the Scotia pepper spray incident, Earth first began direct actions in Bear Creek. On October 3, 1997, 4 activists locked themselves to bulldozers.
I am Sergeant Pete Chervellini, and I represent the Humboldt County Sheriff's Department. It is also my intention to use chemical agents to secure your release if you do not release voluntarily. It's not a pleasant experience. I promise you, you're not going to enjoy it at all. It's going to make your life miserable for you for a while. Okay? You're forcing us to use this, and we are going to use it. Are you going to release?
And when the cops came, they threatened the pepper spray immediately. They said, we're going to do this. We may argue about it in court in 2 years, but this is what we're going to do.
Because we're getting out of here quicker by doing it this way. I'm not going to argue with you.
And it's quicker, it's easier, it's safer.
It's your choice, and we're going to administer it right now unless you start releasing. Are you going to release?
I had talked to Bonka, and she had said, you know, it's a possibility that they might use pepper spray.
Yes or no, sir? Because I'm going to apply pepper spray. Do you understand that?
We were completely nonviolent, completely peaceful.
Torturing me!
And then they gave us the full sprays 30 seconds later.
Gentlemen, this is just a taste of what you're going to next administer by full spray into your eyes, okay? This is just a dose of what you're going to get. Will you release?
Are you going to release? I'm going to administer a full spray if you don't release. You understand that? Are you going to release?
They're spraying our eyes. Why are you doing this to us?
Different.
Oh, please!
Release, please, too.
No!
Release.
No!
And so it took hours. You know, they pepper sprayed thinking it was going to be quicker, that it would make us unlock, and it didn't.
The air, the fire, the water, return.
That's the only chemical in there right now.
The air, the fire, the water, return.
Gentlemen, we're going to get you another burst of OC spray here in about 30 seconds if you don't want to release. Are you going to release? I've got all day to do this, and I've got all kinds of cans of chemical agents.
You've got all day, why don't you cut us out?
Because we're already committed here.
So are we.
Okay? We've got about 30 seconds, we're going to do some more.
We never unlocked. After all the pepper spray they did to us, they had to cut us out.
In the past 8 years in which lockboxes have been used by Earth First, the Humboldt police have successfully removed them without a single injury to anyone.
You're good.
And it's because of the bogus deal that they announced, that they put out there and said was going to save this forest, this deal that rewards the irresponsible behavior, the fiscal and environmentally irresponsible behavior of Charles Hurwitz, John Campbell, Maxam Corporation, and Pacific Lumber Company, that we are still out here. Because this deal is a bad deal for Headwaters Forest, it's a bad deal for the salmon, it's a bad deal for Humboldt County.
All right, push it.
On October the 16th, 1997, Earth First paid a surprise visit to the office of Frank Riggs in Eureka to protest his involvement in a backdoor deal with Charles Hurwitz and the government. Earth First brought Riggs a symbolic stump and a pile of sawdust.
Come on, let's line up.
Morning.
deal. No compromise, no deal. No compromise, no deal.
Nobody.
Want to check that outside door?
The American people want government, I want to say this again, the American people want government to be on the side of the traditional family.
The demise. Well, we keep going. America's home video.
And they don't believe that government should be questioning Judeo-Christian virtues and values, again, on which this country has been founded.
He's not representing the workers of this community, and that he's not really seeing the bigger picture about the future of jobs. He's looking at the short term about what's going to grease his pockets and all.
Frank Riggs, how can you say, I'm a Vietnam veteran, a war veteran, I suffered from torture and insanity in front of my eyes. You say about Christian values?
Okay.
All right.
This is private property.
Yes.
If you do not leave, you will be arrested for trespassing. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Will you voluntarily leave? Will you unhook and leave?
No.
Please oppose torture in Humboldt County.
All right, I'll be happy to stop.
Okay, this is a misdemeanor. It is occurring in my presence. I also have permission from the renter or the person in control of the property to have you arrested or arrest you for trespassing. Again, will you leave?
No.
Okay, if you do not leave, chemical agents will be used.
The people at my office were under arrest.
You brought attention to your cause. You go to jail the same. You just save a lot of damage to the carpet, to the wood chips, to yourselves, and saved a lot of time when we get back and actually arrest some criminals.
You know, I think it's actually kind of, we have to make a stand that you can't use chemical weapons against the American public as torture techniques.
Well, it's not a torture technique. It's the safest way for me to get this problem
That's
resolved.
not, we're not even certain people have been killed using the...
Okay, well, you've been warned.
They were defying the lawful orders of sworn peace officers.
If we have to use cutting agents, it could start a fire, and that is definitely a threat to the public safety of the citizens of Eureka, to yourself, to me, and to people in general. That's why we have to do this.
It's frightening, you know. Some of the most beautiful people I know are standing up and putting themselves on the line because they really believe strongly that, you know, in the future, and that there should be these large trees in the future.
Violations of environmental law are a non-issue in this state. When Pacific Lumber Company goes out there and commits a misdemeanor by violating the forest practice rules, the cops aren't there with pepper spray.
Think of your daughters, you know, I mean, it's kind of a nasty reality.
But when somebody shows up in Frank Riggs' office or Pacific Lumber Company or Bear Creek and commits a misdemeanor, the forces of the state are there with the chemical weapons.
Chemical agents is safer than potentially starting a fire. Temporary effect, not permanent, just hurts like heck.
Law enforcement is defending corporate interests, and they're doing it at the behest of people like Frank Riggs.
They had been and were continuing to break the law.
They did break the law. That's what civil disobedience is. All right.
And that is the uncontrovertible truth.
Deputy, would you assist me, please?
Please don't use it.
Just because they broke the law does not make it right to torture them.
And you know, I keep wondering about the balance of things.
I'm telling you, you have the options. Here. You fail to do the release, I'm going to use chemical agents to try to get you off.
Well, we're going to fight it in court that it's not a right thing for people to be using chemical weapons on other people. You know, it's not right.
I'm not going to argue with you. I'm going to start this process.
What's your definition of torture? I don't know. What's yours?